Hello everyone, this is the Punisher Mythos, and I noticed that I was getting a lot of love for the Punisher's fighting styles video, and I just want to thank all of you for the support. Also, I put a poll up recently, and initially it seems that the Wolverine vs. Punisher and Punisher's military tactics video was neck and neck. However, as you can see, the Punisher's military tactics topic has won, so here it is. Now, we obviously know that the Punisher can handle himself with hand-to-hand combat. However, what gives him a significant edge in every area of combat is his extensive and intensive military background. In the comics, he initially was just a Marine Force Recon and a Navy SEAL. However, the information has since been changed. According to the comics, he also graduated from the Army's Ranger School, completed the U.S. Army Airborne School, which is known as Jump School, graduated the U.S. Army Special Forces Qualification Course, and LRRP, which is Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol Training. He also took part in cross-training with the Australian Special Air Service Regiment, and lastly, he's also a qualified HALO, High Altitude Low Opening Jumper. In this video, I will briefly break down the various branches and training methods he learned. Now, even though the training methods may be similar, I will focus on how he can use the unique specialties of each special operations group to his advantage during his endless war on crime. The first special ops group, being Marine Force Reconnaissance, also known as Force Recon, is a special operations unit of the United States Marine Corps. Its primary mission is to conduct deep reconnaissance and surveillance missions behind enemy lines, gather intelligence, and provide direct action support to Marine expeditionary units and other special operations forces. Force Recon Marines are also highly trained in target acquisition, specialized demolition, and underwater operations. Moreover, they are experts in small unit tactics, amphibious warfare, long-range patrolling, and are able to operate in a wide range of environments and conditions. I think that Frank would utilize his training as a foundation for how he engages numerous threats, because his type of training itself would put Frank Castle at a major advantage when dealing with low-level criminals. With this information, some may think that this training is enough. I would initially say that you're right, but if we were to think like Frank, we would always expect the unexpected and accordingly stay ready so we don't have to get ready. This frame of thinking comes from the fundamental training of thinking outside the box and realizing that he could one day face an individual or groups that could be just as skilled as him. It is important to note as well that this branch is also where Frank learned to be an expert sniper and where he spent most of his time training. Hence, he completed 4 tours. Now, with the Navy SEAL training, the United States Navy SEALs, which stands for Sea, Air, and Land, are a highly specialized and elite military force that operates under the Naval Special Warfare Command. They are responsible for conducting small unit direct action missions in maritime, jungle, urban, and desert environments. The SEALs are comprised of several teams, each with its own specialization, including reconnaissance, sniper, demolitions, and counterterrorism. They undergo a rigorous selection process followed by a highly demanding training program that includes basic and advanced underwater demolition, airborne training, and other specialized skills training. The specialized skills training includes close quarters battle, marksmanship, hand-to-hand combat, and infiltration and exfiltration, which are highly effective in a wide range of military and non-military operations. The most important element Frank could use from this training is the underwater demolition training. The underwater demolition training can be used for 4 things. Firstly, this skill could be useful when criminal activities require the neutralization or destruction of underwater objects such as drug trafficking submarines or improvised explosive devices underwater. Secondly, combat diving can be useful in operations that require covert underwater operations. Frank can approach criminal suspects or targets from underwater, which can provide an element of surprise or help to avoid detection. The next method, being underwater search and recovery, can be useful in retrieval of evidence, weapons, or other items from underwater. This can include investigations into criminal activities such as smuggling or terrorism. Lastly, underwater navigation, which can be useful when navigating underwater environments effectively, even in low visibility conditions. With Army Ranger training, Army Rangers are primarily focused on direct action missions, such as raids, ambushes, and other small unit tactics. They specialize in conducting airborne and air assault operations, and are trained to operate and thrive in a variety of terrains and conditions, such as mountainous terrains and in swamps and jungles. This type of training also emphasizes on rappelling, land navigation, and night missions. The elements that Frank could use from this type of training is the hand-to-hand, terrain, and night mission training. This means that the criminals he faces, regardless of the time of day, can run, but they cannot hide, due to the fact that Frank can not only survive, but thrive in various environments. Before I go to the final branch, I also want to highlight other training methods that Frank learned from the Army. As I mentioned earlier, he completed the U.S. Army Airborne School, which is known as Jump School. This explains his expertise in parachuting and, when necessary, parachuting in stealthy ways. He also graduated from the U.S. Army Special Forces Qualification Course and LRRP, which is Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol Training. I really don't have to go deeper with the other training methods that I just mentioned, because they pretty much help enforce and sharpen his reconnaissance, close combat, and marksmanship skills. Now, lastly, the Australian Air Service Regiment. The Australian Air Service Regiment is a specialist unit that provides ground-based air defense for the Australian Defence Force. In addition to the Stinger missile system, they are equipped with a range of other weapons and equipment, including small arms, machine guns, and anti-tank weapons. The unit also has its own air transport capability, using helicopters to move personnel and equipment. The unit also places a strong emphasis on physical fitness, as soldiers must be able to operate in challenging environments and under high levels of stress. I think that Frank would obviously use this training for times that require an aerial attack with a helicopter on heavily guarded areas. Also, Frank is known to take money and weapons from the various criminal organizations, and if needed, besides his battle van, he could use a helicopter to transport a heavy load of weapons or other things. In conclusion, Frank Castle is an absolute beast. I'm pretty sure that with this video and the Fighting Styles video combined, you can see how Frank has a substantial advantage against organized criminals and can even hang with the toughest heroes and villains that are supernaturals and mutants. As you can see through this video and even in your own research, the branches and their special operations groups are very similar on the surface. However, they have their own specialties because their primary missions are different. Frank Castle embraced the teachings from each group and took it to another level. The training Frank received, besides the skills that was mentioned, has shaped his mental capacity to become a weapons master, master tactician, an interrogation master, and someone that has indomitable will that could even fight off telepathic powers. Moreover, his time in the armed forces as an exceptional Marine and soldier was shown through his medals and accolades, such as the Bronze Star, Silver Star, and 4 Purple Hearts. Anyways, thank you guys for viewing this video. If you liked the video, make sure to share your thoughts in the comment section, punish that like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Punisher Mythos is out.